Welcome back to the program. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Jake Melksham's been a very, very important player at Melbourne since he's come across from the Essendon Footy Club, so much so that his injury last year at a really important time was devastating, Wisp, and for Demons fans have been waiting and waiting, and he came back on the weekend, straight back into the senior lineup, and influential, hit the scoreboard a couple of times, but I don't think it's any coincidence that Jacob Van Rooyen had his very best game when Jake Melksham came back.
That's right, and he may have taken the mark of the round that wasn't paid too.
I would have paid it.
I would have paid it too. Jake would have paid it too. Good morning to you, Jake.
Morning, Gary and Tim. How are we?
Oh, we're going okay. I can't believe they took that mark off you.
Well, I actually haven't seen the replay, but everyone keeps telling me it was a mark, so I'm more disappointed by the day, the more people keep telling me so.
Hey,
every right to be.
I was wandered out to training a few weeks ago. I watched you running around. You look like you're jumping out of your skin, ready to go 3 or 4 weeks ago. So did they just hold you back for a couple of weeks?
No, so we ran into a little bit of a roadblock with my hip. I got delayed by about 3 weeks. I was trying to get back for the Collingwood King's birthday clash, but I had a bit of a delay and I ended up doing about an 8-week return to play schedule as opposed to 4. So you're right, you would have seen me jumping out of my skin and feeling really good. So I think that's what gave Goody and the staff the confidence to play me off sort of no game prep.
So I watched all year. You've sat at the back of the box down on the ground, and you've been intimately and heavily involved, and that speaks to your leadership at that football club. But what did you notice when you got out there on the deck? Had things changed since you'd last been out there? What was good? What needs a bit more work from a Melbourne point of view?
I think not a lot of change. To be honest, Gary, early on was just trying to get my game going, and I was playing a role on McGovern. I was highly focused on that, but I think I felt a lot of synergy out there when we were playing, which is what I felt last year towards the back end of the year when I was in the team. I noticed, Jacob Van Rooyen, who probably played his best game of the season, he really stamped himself on that footy contest on the weekend. But I've noticed a lot of the things that I saw throughout the season with guys like Cade Chandler, the selfless role and the selfless running that he plays and does for the team, which allows a lot of us to get off the hook. Sometimes he's taking out 1 and 2 players with his speed and his decision making to run back towards goal. So I've noticed a lot of things, Gary, but without being too specific, I don't think too much has changed.
Hey, Jake, do you enjoy that role that you played again at the weekend, the one against McGovern?
Yeah, I love it, Tim. It's a bit. It's not. I don't take it personal, but I just like to take it up to those guys. They're the best defenders in the competition. They purely try and mark the ball at every opportunity, as opposed to spoil it and kill the ball. So I love going up against them and trying to body them up and take marks on them and kick goals, because a lot of the time they're more worried about their system and their team defence as opposed to trying to lock you down. So it's always nice when you can play okay, and I always have great battles with Jerry McGovern. I've probably played on him in the last 6 or 7 years. It's been good fun.
Do you like to try and get in behind him as much as you possibly can?
Yeah, I think it's widely known throughout the competition that when you play those forward, I don't like to call it a forward defensive role, but it's just a back shoulder role. You sit in behind them. They like to watch the footy anyway and go for their marks. So there's a time where they'll just stop worrying about what you're doing and back themselves in, and then you do the exact same and back yourself in and try and beat them in the air and get it to ground.
Talking to Jake Melksham from the Demons, back in AFL football at the weekend after a long layoff because of a knee injury. You've got to perform against the Bombers this weekend without your captain, without your number 1 ruckman, Maxi Gawn. How do you cover for him this week, Jake?
Well, I think we've got some depth in our ruck stocks. I think Tom Fullerton's in some strong VFL form at the moment, so he'll definitely be putting his hand up. We've got main training today out at Casey. I'm just driving here now. It's pouring rain and windy, so I can't wait. And yeah, we'll have some options that we can look to take up. But it's disappointing for Max. Obviously, he's our our captain, our leader, our barometer of our footy club, and I'm very grateful that it's only a couple of weeks. I remember 5 or 6 years ago I broke my foot in the exact same incident and I missed 13 weeks. So I said to him straight away, count yourself lucky, mate, because it could have been a season-ending injury. But we'll be right. We'll find ways to combat that and look forward to taking on Essendon and their ruck stocks.
Is that Essendon clash one that you circle each year, and has it have a little bit extra meaning given your time there?
Oh, not really, Gary. It's been a while. It's 9 years now, and I've only got about 4 teammates left that I played with. So it's nice getting out there and seeing, Hep and Langford and Laverde, those guys that I've played some footy with. It's great to see them playing well, and it's good for the competition to see Essendon, such a big club, up and about. And you look at Collingwood and Carlton the past few years, what that's done for the competition and the excitement levels is really good. So I can't wait to get out there Saturday.
What about you and Jai Corbell just clashing at some stage, because he's a pugilist of some note? You've been
Can't do an interview, Jake, without being told he's very good with his dukes.
That's right, and you've been noted as a pugilist from a past life as well. What about the two of you just stepping into the ring at some stage during the game?
Jai Corbell, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, he pumps himself right up too.
Well, I watch him play. He plays with a lot of tenacity and energy. He's hard at it, which is great. But I didn't know that, and to be honest, Tim, I'll be steering clear of any of that sort of stuff. It's always funny when you hear of athletes and their former careers that they had when they were younger, how they can get pumped up without any sort of credibility.
It can get exaggerated, although he did tell us he won a Victorian title when he was a youngster, so we've taken him a bit more seriously. Hey, tell me about Cozzy Pickett. Obviously, I've watched every single game he's played. He looks to be playing as well as he ever has, and the upside for him is enormous. And his time through the middle, it gives us, every time he goes in there, it gives you a big lift, and then he's also hitting the scoreboard regularly. He's in career best form.
Yeah, he is. We are super happy with the form that Cozzy's in at the moment. I think it's just a build-up of the last 4 or 5 years of his career. He's come into the competition with an enormous talent, and I think most of the time his talent has got him to where he is now, but he's started to build consistency and stack some consistency week on week, and it's really showing in his game. If you look at his drop of ball stuff at the moment, he's just at the front of every marking contest, and he most of the time wins it, and when he wins it, he's finishing his work in front of goal. So he's seeing the reward from all the work that he's putting in, and that's coming through his training and his training habits. And we're wrapped with him, and to see him take that mark on the weekend. I mentioned after the game in an interview, I think it was his 30th attempt in 5 years to take mark of the year, and he finally got it. So we were all super happy. If you saw our faces on the screen, we were just wrapped for him. So he's getting the reward that he deserves, and it's through his hard work.
And before we let you go, what are you doing outside of footy at the moment, Jake?
I bump into your son every week in his office. I go and have a coffee and a chat, and we talk about all sorts of things, business, property, all the things that we love. But I'm doing a little bit of work with Colliers in the industrial commercial space there out at Chadstone, and my wife and I have got a Pilates business with Trent Cotchin and Brooke Cotchin out in Essendon. So a little bit of stuff happening there. I'm not sure when my career will end, but hopefully I've got something there to fall back on.
Hey, Gary, I'm hearing he's going to be the new Andrew Welsh when the footy career's over.
Nice.
I would love that, Tim. I'll take that right now.
Nice diversification. Hey, good luck, Jake. Appreciate you jumping on. And it's a big round. It's the round for Reach this weekend. It's Melbourne's annual game, which supports the Reach Foundation. They connect with young people, work out what's holding them back, and give them the tools to try and deal with the life's challenges that we all confront from time to time. So it is a big weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Want to see more from the D's? And don't forget to subscribe up here.